Trick and Nick win gold. The Paul Levesque era continues. It's all here on the Wrestling is Bullshit report. Welcome back, guys. Glad to talk some wrestling, man. WrestleMania was 3 weeks ago, and it still seems like we're riding a high as wrestling fans, man. Really cool stuff. Let's get into it. Becky Lynch won the vacant Women's World Championship on this past episode of Monday Night Raw. A lot of people don't seem to be happy about Becky Lynch once again being a champion. Me personally, I couldn't be happier. I think she's put the work in for years. Championship or no championship, she has continued to consistently put the work in. Rhea Ripley has made that championship mean something on Monday Night Raw. And the only person that could carry that momentum for the championship was Becky Lynch, in my opinion. You could have put it on Nia Jax. You could have put it on Liv Morgan. No, you go Becky Lynch. That is honestly the best route, in my opinion. I'm very happy to see Becky have another championship. She hasn't had a championship in years, besides the NXT championship and besides the women's tag team titles. She hasn't been a main champion of WWE in years. So it's really cool to see it happening, and I personally don't mind it. The very next night on NXT, Trick Williams won the NXT championship. This is a championship that is going to facilitate the success and growth of Trick Williams. Dude has a ton of potential. He's really came into his own over the past few years. Really cool to see him get this NXT championship. Kind of makes me want to watch NXT a lot more, in my opinion. For those of you that know me, know that I don't watch NXT weekly. I don't think a lot of people do anymore. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that NXT is pointless. I think it's begun to better prepare these wrestlers for the main roster. And if that means compromising on content a little bit just to make sure that these athletes are ready for their main roster debuts, I think that's, there's a method to the madness in that. We also on SmackDown had Carlito exposed for attacking Dragon Lee just before WrestleMania, which made him turn on Rey Mysterio and, of course, Dragon Lee. Looks like Carlito is heading into a heel phase of his later career, and we all know Carlito works best as a heel, man. He definitely should be a heel. He spent a year as babyface Carlito of the LWO, and now it's time for the Carlito that we knew and love all those years ago. Very exciting, man. I think the sky's the limit for Carlito. While I think he can be in main championship matches, even if he doesn't win one of the big championships on Raw or SmackDown. I definitely think he can wrestle for them if built up correctly. I would love to see Carlito versus Cody Rhodes for that undisputed title. Hell yeah. On New Japan, we had Yuya Uemura defeat Great-O-Khan for the King of Pro Wrestling title. Kind of an undercard championship for New Japan, but it is the first championship for Yuya Uemura, who is a fantastic wrestler. So there you go out of New Japan. We had one little title change, nothing too big, but here I am reporting it to you guys because I keep it on lock for you. We also had on Saturday's edition of AEW Rampage, Trent Beretta defeat Chuck Taylor in a parking lot fight. I think this was a really fun match, to be honest with you guys. It was really cool to see the Best Friends, this tag team, kind of slowly dissipate, or they've been a team since AEW's inception, since 2019, for 5+ years. And then Trent Beretta all of a sudden turned on this Best Friends faction, and Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, former tag team partners, went out and had a great parking lot fight. Really cool, really fun, really awesome. Definitely one of the most underrated AEW Rampage moments ever. Yeah, ever. Honestly, it really did do what it needed to do. You felt the weight because you've seen these guys as a tag team for the past 5+ years. So to see them go head to head in a brutal brawl was really cool, man. Really entertaining stuff. I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. At the same time, though, we also had TripleMania 32 Monterrey, where Nic Nemeth defeated Alberto El Patron to become a double champion. He now has, well, I think he has 3 championships, but as of the coverage of Wrestling is Bullshit, he has 2 championships. He has the New Japan Pro Wrestling Global Heavyweight Championship, and now he just won the AAA Mega Championship. Very interesting choice here. I definitely thought Alberto El Patron would win this match. Not that I really wanted him to win per se. I just think it's a wrestling promotion out of Mexico. You got Alberto El Patron fighting for the belt. I think he could have won that, but I am definitely much happier to see that championship on Nic Nemeth. Yeah, heck yeah. So now we got Nic Nemeth as a champion in Japan and in Mexico. Very interesting stuff here. He actually fought for the TNA World Championship about a week ago. Week ago. Oh, gotta hit that shmurda. About a week ago. Okay. Um, so I definitely saw him winning that TNA World Championship. He didn't. Moose ended up winning, but he bounces back for himself and his personal career by winning the AAA Mega Championship. It definitely intrigues me to want to watch these AAA shows a little more with Nic Nemeth as their main champion. I think he's just been fantastic ever since he's left WWE in the ring and outside, man. This guy's got charisma. He couldn't sell it if he wanted to, man. And then he go, and then the bell rings, and you're like, what was WWE doing, wasting Dolph Ziggler for all those years? This is Nic Nemeth, man. People say we're in the Paul Levesque era. We're also in the Nic Nemeth era, and I believe that, man. You can watch him on AAA in Mexico and New Japan in Japan, of course. Double champion. Let's go. That is all that we have for the results this week. Now we go into the news. I did go through that pretty quickly, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't an eventful week. Obviously, if you've been paying attention, it was a very eventful week, man. Very eventful. Let's get into the news, man. We also had Tony Khan taking an indie taker, the indie taker move on the end of AEW Dynamite. He was assaulted by Jack Perry, and then he was further assaulted by the Young Bucks. One of the biggest wow moments in AEW history. Um, that was really fun. That was really cool. A really interesting way to end this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite. But what came after that, I was not the hugest fan of, man. We saw Tony Khan wearing a neck brace in the NFL draft, and the NFL themselves even went on to cover what happened to Tony Khan, why he was wearing the neck brace, the fact that he had taken a move from the Young Bucks, taken a bump, if you will, a little insider turn, taking a move from the Young Bucks on the end of AEW Dynamite. So it's really cool for Tony Khan and AEW to utilize the fact that Tony Khan works for the Jacksonville Jaguars to get AEW's name mentioned during the NFL draft. That's really cool. That's fine. That's great. What happened after was Tony Khan was actually interviewed on the NFL Network, where he just went on to bash WWE as much as he possibly can. Even the guys at NFL Network were like, "Hold the brakes, man. Hold the brakes, bro." Listen, man. The NFL Network is not what's a major news station, ABC or CBS or Fox. This the NFL Network. They can get away with a lot more. And even those guys were like, "Chill out, man. This is a live feed." I just think Tony Khan, he made a great move by getting some eyes from the NFL draft onto the AEW product. He messed up by overly bashing WWE. There's a difference between bashing WWE, as they probably deserve it half the time, and then overly bashing WWE. It's just ridiculous, man. I've been a real big fan of the AEW product, but stop making an ass of yourself, Tony Khan, please, because I really enjoy watching your promotion, and it doesn't make me enjoy it anymore. In fact, it makes me enjoy it less when I see Tony Khan on NFL Network just so desperate to bash WWE, man. Like, they're doing great. AEW is doing great right now. Like, leave it at that. WWE is also doing great. And it's just bad juju. It's bad vibes when Tony Khan gets on NFL Network or gets on wherever he has a microphone or a voice and bashes WWE. It looks desperate. It looks shitty. It looks cheesy. Let's let's coexist with WWE a little bit. Let WWE be great, and then AEW, why don't you guys have your sole focus on being great and not bashing WWE, not going on NFL Network and making yourself look like a dumbass? Speaking to Tony Khan personally, you know, I really like the AEW products. I really want AEW to succeed, and Tony Khan along with that. But I'm just gonna be honest, I don't like seeing that shit. A lot of AEW fans also like WWE, so why would you leave that bad taste in their mouth? Just compliment their wrestling weekly schedule. Watch their wrestling. What was I trying to say? Just compliment the wrestling that they watch every week. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Let's move on. We see that's an example of what I don't like coming out of AEW. What I'm about to talk about next is an example of what I do like coming out of AEW. We're going to talk about the Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson match. Fantastic. One of the best matches I've ever seen, man. It actually ended up once again breaking Dave Meltzer's rating system as it got 6.5 stars out of 5. Now, I didn't need Dave Meltzer to break his own rating system again to know that this was a good match. Me personally, it was a great match. I saw it live, and I was literally, when the bell rang for Danielson's defeat, I was like, wow, that was one of the best matches I think I've ever seen. Best match I've seen in the past few years. It truly lived up to the hype. In an era where maybe the bell-to-bell action doesn't always live up to the hype, I don't think there's never been an era where every match lives up to the hype. It's all, Anyway, this match lived up to the hype and then some. I didn't need Dave Meltzer to break his rating system to know that personally. So I don't want people to get it twisted through my coverage of this, because even though Dave Meltzer's rating system doesn't mean the most to me, I know it means a lot to other people. And I know that Dave Meltzer, alongside Jim Cornette and other people in the space, is a respected opinion. Wrestling fans can never give people like that their flowers, but I am going to here. If you're Dave Meltzer, if you're Jim Cornette, or anywhere in between that spectrum, you probably have a respectable opinion. And I'll go ahead and say that right now. Dave Meltzer is a respected opinion by some, never by all. Never by all. That's just how life goes. We saw the rating system break again, and rightfully so, as Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson tore the freaking house down, man. Really freaking good match. WWE, I hope you guys can break the rating system very soon too. I think that WWE has been moving different lately, and I think if AEW or WWE or New Japan, something like that, I think out of all the promotion, what I'm trying to say is, out of all the promotions to do the next 5+ star match where they break Meltzer's rating system, I think WWE is up next to do that. I really do. And that's just a hot take. Came straight from my mind right now. I wasn't even planning on saying that shit. So let's keep it going, man. We got 2 more pieces of news here for you before we get into the watch list, which is, of course, another fantastic watch list. We have Netflix reportedly upset because they really wanted Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to be on Monday Night Raw. The executives of Netflix, the future home of Monday Night Raw, really wanted Theory and Waller on their show. And of course, if you watched the first half of the WWE draft, you would know that these guys are champions on SmackDown. And during the WWE draft this year, champions are to stay put. They are not in the draft pool on either night, which I think is interesting. It's cool to see things switch up every once in a while, but if they really like where everything is at and they don't want any championships to move, that's fine. Tell good stories. I don't care. But it's really interesting to see Netflix having an opinion and saying, hey, this tag team is really great. We think they're really charismatic and fantastic. We want them on Monday nights. We were hoping you would put them on Monday nights. What I'm trying to get at here is, in the long run, it seems like Netflix is going to have a voice for who they want on Monday Night Raw and potentially what they want on Monday Night Raw. We live in an era now where it's no longer Raw is the A show and SmackDown is the B show. It feels like Raw is the 1A show and SmackDown is the 1B show, if that makes sense. If that makes sense at all. But with this Netflix priority that WWE is eventually going to have to cater to, if Netflix wants a SmackDown superstar on Raw, they're going to have to make Netflix happy, because that's going to be the home of Monday Night Raw. It seems like Raw is going to get priority over SmackDown in that very specific regard over the next few years. Very interesting thing to think about, man. I just kind of fleshed out the bigger picture between Netflix really being over on Theory and Waller, but that's just the bigger picture itself. Like I said, man, Netflix is going to be bothering WWE for talent that's on SmackDown that they may really want on Raw. And while WWE is probably not going to say yes every time, they're going to have to keep them happy sometimes. And that's going to be something that we may see in the future. That's going to be something that Wrestle Talk, JD from NY, and Cultaholic may be reporting on in the future. Netflix swaying the plans of WWE creatively. Now, am I worried about that? No, not really. I just really wanted to share my opinion of that being something that will take place in the foreseeable future when Raw finds its new home on Netflix sooner than later. Last but not least on the news, this might confuse a couple of y'all. Ricochet won the WWE Speed Championship, the newest championship of WWE. This is a weekly show, a very short weekly show that you can watch on X or Twitter on Wednesday mornings. It features quick matches, right? Because everybody has the attention span of a goldfish. I'm just messing. I actually think it's not that bad of an idea to put a show like this on X, a very brief show, somebody stumbling, scrolling through X, and they happen to stumble upon a WWE Speed episode and get a quick 5-minute fix of what pro wrestling is all about. I think that can, in a way, get more eyes on board if these people don't become big fans like you and me, then at least they've seen 5 minutes of a wrestling match and understand that this stuff is actually entertaining, thus gaining more respect for it in the long run. I think it's great. And then you got Ricochet, one of the best mid carders in WWE. He's been really holding it down for years, winning this Speed Championship. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. I've yet to tune into WWE Speed. I'm just working on Wednesdays and 10 in the morning, but I'm sure it's real great. I'm sure if I go to a Raw or SmackDown sometime this year or next year, and they feature a couple of WWE Speed matches, I may be very intrigued, and I may sit down and watch while I'm there in the arena. But nonetheless, man, this is in the news section because it has yet to air. It will probably air this Wednesday on this upcoming week's edition of WWE Speed, but nonetheless, it's a taped show. A lot of people already know that Ricochet won the match and the championship. So I just put it in the news category instead of the results category. So if I spoiled that for you, I'm deeply sorry, but I would truly be shocked if this was the first place you were hearing it, because Ricochet winning this belt was all over the internet. And yeah, I think the WWE Speed Championship and weekly show has legs. This can be what the Cruiserweights and the 24/7 Championship were trying to be under the new creative Paul Levesque era. I think they can make this WWE Speed Championship interesting. Interesting enough to have a long future. That's just my opinion. Ricochet is your inaugural Speed champion. I'm excited to see what comes of this stuff. If they ever hold a Speed championship match at the pre-show of a premium live event, I would definitely tune in for that. I see so many spoilers to the point where WWE Speed is pretty much dead in the water for my viewership. But that doesn't mean I don't support it, and that doesn't mean that I don't hope for its success in the future. All right, man, let's get into the watch list. I'm sorry, I always keep you guys way over. I always just ramble about wrestling. That's what this is, man. I'm just rambling about wrestling. I'm passionate about wrestling, and hopefully this is enjoyable to those watching. Let's get into the watch list, our last segment of this episode. We got the WWE draft concluding on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. We'll see who goes where, and we'll have a final idea of some feuds to expect for the next 12 months. Very exciting. On Tuesday, we have NXT Spring Breakin. We got Obafemi defending the North American Championship against Ivar. Yes, I want to watch that. Ivar has been doing fantastic work. He's about to take on Obafemi for the North American Championship. Heck Yes, that match is exciting right there. That's going to be one of the coolest matches of the week. Watch NXT this week. We also have Axiom and Nathan Frazier defending the NXT Tag Team titles against the Authors of Pain. Very interesting. Do they put the straps on the Authors of Pain? Because really, in what realistic world is Axiom and Nathan Frazier going to defeat the Authors of Pain? I think we see some new NXT Tag Team champs this week. And if you don't end up watching NXT, follow Wrestling is Bullshit on Instagram and you will know the results of NXT. You'll know the results of all these shows this week. We also have Natalya facing Lola Vice in an underground match. That should also be very interesting. I really do enjoy underground matches. I know a lot of people don't care for them too much, but they're fun. They're something different. They're enjoyable to me, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll probably end up watching NXT this week again. AEW Dynamite, we see Chris Jericho defend the FTW title against Katsuyori Shibata. So what in the world is going to happen here? Are you going to have Chris Jericho defeat Katsuyori Shibata? Because it's going to piss me off if that happens, but that's probably the point. So that's probably what we're going to see. We're probably going to see Jericho retain the FTW title against Katsuyori Shibata. And I'm going to roll my eyes so far to the back of my head that I'm going to be able to see my fucking brain. We also have Adam Copeland defending the TNT Championship against one member of the House of Black. Also really cool. I think any member of the House of Black facing Adam Copeland in the Cope Open on AEW Dynamite is going to be must watch, in my opinion. So I'll probably watch AEW as well. Chris Jericho really annoys me. And that's okay, man. That's heat. It's not the best heat. I'm not going to lie. It's not the best heat, but it is nonetheless heat. So screw it. I'm not the most pissed about Chris Jericho being the FTW champion. But do I think it should have happened? No. I'll leave it there. SmackDown, we have A-Town Down Under defending the WWE Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. See, this is interesting because we just talked about in the news section Netflix really wanting Theory and Waller to be on Monday Night Raw. So do they drop the WWE Tag Team titles to the Street Profits, and do we see a trade early on that sees Theory and Waller go to Raw to make Netflix happy? We'll have to wait and see what happens, but that's very interesting if you ask me. What will we see on SmackDown with this WWE Tag Team Championship match, knowing what we know about the backstage politics between Netflix and WWE? Friday, we also have TNA Under Siege, a premium live event that you can watch with a subscription to TNA Plus. We will see Spitfire defend the Knockouts World Tag Team titles against Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. We will also see Mustafa Ali defend the X Division Championship. So, honestly, given my opinion here, I'll probably watch SmackDown over TNA Under Siege. But that's just my personal opinion. If you were to watch TNA Under Siege over SmackDown this Friday, I would not blame you at all. I would, in fact, tip my cap to you because TNA has been fantastic. I don't know, man. WWE's just really been killing it. They've been putting on some must-watch weekly content. So I would love to watch TNA this week, but I do want to see this SmackDown, this WWE Tag Team Championship match on SmackDown. Yeah, there you go. Friday night, we also have GCW, Rather You Than Me. You know, GCW likes to name their shows these slogans, if you will. We'll see Blake Christian defend the GCW World Championship against Danhausen. Consider yourself cursed, boy. I'm just playing around. No, seriously, though, Blake Christian versus Danhausen for the GCW World title. That sounds very entertaining to me. We will see if I'll get around to that. I think I might want to watch that, to be honest with you, just going down the list here. You could watch all GCW shows with a monthly subscription to Triller TV Plus, or formerly known as Fight TV Plus. So just go ahead and get yourself a monthly subscription to Fight. I think it's less than $10 a month, and you'll be able to watch all the GCW shows. I think they're pretty entertaining. It's definitely a different form of pro wrestling, but I do find it very entertaining myself. Last but not least, Backlash France. I guess they're calling this is obviously going to be a WWE premium live event coming out of France, but I guess they changed the title from Backlash to Backlash France. France. I'm 25 and my voice just cracked, man. What is wrong with me? No, I'm just kidding. Let's go down this card real quick. Bayley defends the WWE Women's Championship against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. We got the Kabuki Warriors defending the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Very cool, man. I think we're going to see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeat the Kabuki Warriors for those WWE Women's Tag Team titles. There's no way that Jade Cargill loses this early in her in-ring debut, if you will. She's been around. It's been known that she has signed with WWE for quite some time now. But WrestleMania was her first in-ring match besides the Royal Rumble. So now we see her and Bianca taking on the Kabuki Warriors for those titles. I can almost guarantee you that Jade Cargill will win her first women's championship at WWE Backlash France. We also have 2 more matches listed as of right now. We have Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso. Let me tell you something, man. Do not count out Jey Uso in this match. I mean, it's a good chance that Damian Priest does retain this World Heavyweight Championship as he just won it not even a month ago. But think about it this way, man. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in storyline have become great friends over the past year. And I think WWE is contemplating whether they want to put the World Heavyweight Championship on Jey Uso and then, of course, have the undisputed title on Cody Rhodes. It's poetry. It rhymes. It's storytelling. It's there. The potential is there. So while this may seem like an easy win for Damian Priest, I do think that not only will Damian Priest and Jey Uso put on a good match for that World Heavyweight title, I think there's a possibility of a new champ. A small possibility, but nonetheless a possibility. At the end of the day, anything can happen all the time. Last but not least, in the main event, Cody Rhodes defends the undisputed WWE Championship against AJ Styles. What a perfect first title defense for Cody Rhodes. Didn't he defend? He defended the title this past week on Friday. So maybe it's not his first title defense. But nonetheless, man, I think Cody and AJ are going to tear the house down. Should be really awesome. Of course, I really expect Cody to win here, but I don't want to ruin that for you guys because I truly think that this Cody Rhodes undisputed WWE Championship title reign can end at any moment. Even if this upcoming Saturday is not the moment, it can end at any moment. I think they're going to take the John Cena approach with Cody Rhodes and have him lose the title, win the title, lose the title, win the title for a long time. So that makes these championship matches way more interesting opposed to what we got with Roman Reigns for the past several years. Not saying that Roman Reigns wasn't fantastic. It's just going to be a different approach here. A less predictable approach, if you will. I'm very excited, though, man. I think Cody's got this one in the bag, me personally. And then these other matches are also very exciting. Like, does Bayley keep her title? I think that she does. But in my opinion, Tiffany Stratton is so over. They might have to get that title on her sooner than later. But we'll see what happens, man, because Tiffany Stratton is over AF. All right, guys. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Wrestling's Bullshit Report. I had a lot of fun talking pro wrestling with you guys. We'll see you guys next week, most likely, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.